Okay, so here number of clusters chosen by selected by yourself, and we select centroid arbitrarily. Then if you have chosen cluster two clusters, then you have to select two random centroids for you. You can say C1 and C2. Then you have to measure the distance for all data sets. You choose one data set. If it is which one is minimum, that will go to that centroid. So grouping based on the minimum distance will be done, and movement will be done until and unless we are left with no data sets or criteria that satisfy the criteria for termination is satisfied. So this is going like this. You can watch here. These are the data sets. Okay, we have selected k is equal to 2, means we have to divide this cluster into two groups. So we arbitrarily partition objects into k groups. So in that we found like this. So what we will do, you can see here we have grouped these elements, and we found these two clusters. Then what you have to do, you have to recompute the cluster center for every step. So update the cluster centroid. So after updation of the centroid, we come up with this as a center, and for this cluster we come up with this as a center. So now all the distances for the objects will be measured from this for all objects. You can see here. So like this we will do the grouping. So because these are the near to this one, that's why it came. One more item you can say here, it is there. So this measured distance is like this. So what we will do, after this centroid we have chosen, we have assigned these items to the clusters that to the around the centroids. So this one and this one. So you can see here, previously we have seen this cluster was belonging to this one. Now in this case this cluster belongs to the cluster this one. So some changes you are observing, and centroid is now changed. In the next again you can see, when we update the centroid, now centroid location it reached somewhere here, and this also shifted slightly. So now the assignment of the different data objects is now here changing. You can see here, you can observe. So this we will keep on doing this repetitively. So you can see here we started from this, and it is forming one loop kind of thing. See here like this. So we will keep on doing this until and unless we are not left with the no more data sets, or thus changes no changes there. So we will terminate this, and this is happening. You have to compute the centroid, and centroid is nothing but mean. How you calculate the mean, you already know. If I have 1 plus 2 plus 3, then very easily I can find the mean. So what I will do, 1 2 3 numbers are there, I will divide by 3. So I will get the 3 2 5 1 6 6 by 2. So what will be my mean? My mean will be 3. So like this, centroid is nothing but this is the, like this we calculate the centroids, and we will continue up to the until no changes. So this is one example I told graphically. Before you go to detail, I will show one more example. Yeah. So are you able to see this PPT? Not PPT, this image.
No,
Word
sir.
doc.
No, sir.
Word
No,
document.
sir.
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute. I
No,
will.
no, sir. No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Now,
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
yes, you have to. Okay. Now you have to understand this one. This is one example, very briefly example I have prepared for understanding you how this k-means clustering algorithm is happening. So you see what is the question? The question is perform the clustering in the given following data sets using k-means clustering when number of cluster we have chosen 2. And what is this? This is my data sets. This one is the data set table. In this we have 2 dimensions. We have 2 attributes. One is the height and next one is the weight. Based on these data sets, I have to make these data sets divide. I have to make the division of this data set into 2 groups. So how I will do? You observe this, and for measurement of the distance we will use this formula Euclidean distance. For 2 points we can find the distance how x1 minus x2 square plus y1 minus y2 whatever, y1 minus y2, y2 minus same thing, the same result will come, and square. Then we have taken the square root. Like this we have to find the distance so that we can measure the similarity or dissimilarity between 2 objects. Now you can see here. So what is our algorithm? First step is we have to choose k. K means arbitrary cluster. After that, next option is if you have to take two clusters, then you need 2 centroids. So for 2 centroids, you can choose any one of the tuple. You choose D1 or you can choose D6, D7, D8, whatever, but you have to randomly select 2. So for my convenience, I have taken 2 data points D1 and D2. 2 objects I have taken, serial number 1 and serial number 2. So and I will make it as a first centroid and this one is a second centroid. Okay, next, how I am calculating the distance you can see. So in this table I have shown these things. So what I did now, so my cluster 1 will be the D1 and my cluster second will be the D2 and its centroid will also be the same because initially we are not having more than one elements, more than one data object. So for the first iteration, these 2 cluster, whatever centroid I have taken, it will be there. In the next, what I have to do, because the assignment for D1, D2 already done, the assignment for D3 means this object is not yet done. So what you will do, you have to assign this D3 to either D1 cluster, to C1 cluster or C2 cluster. So how I will do based on the calculations using the Euclidean distance. So now take this D3. So what is the D3 points? 168. It has the height and weight 60. So you can see here 168 and 60. These 2 things you have to make the Euclidean distance here. How you will calculate Euclidean distance from C1? What is my C1? C1 is 185 and 72. This is the value. And my data point D3 is 168 and 60. So how I am calculating 168 minus 185 and 60 minus 72. This belongs to the height and this one is for the weight. So both the things I combined, I have taken the square, then 1 by 2 means I have taken the square root. Then I come up with the how much? 20.81. Similarly, for the same data point 168 and 660, I need to calculate the distance from C2 means centroid 2, which one is 170 and 56. So what I did, I taken this one 168 minus 172, then squared plus 60, this 60 minus 56, this one 56. So I come up with the distance 4.47. So 4.47 means which one is minimum? The distance from distance of object D3 is having the distance minimum from C2. Okay, not from C1. So what I will do, I will assign this tuple, this object to the cluster 2. I will assign the D3 to the cluster 2. So for what I did, 2 already was already it was there in the cluster 2. Next one, the cluster 3, as we have seen, this one is the minimum. This one is minimum. So because we found the minimum distance from C2 for D3, so C2 will go to the this cluster 2. This D3 will go to the cluster 2, that is the cluster the centroid for centroid 2. So how I calculated, I assigned this one. Okay. Now what happened? Now changes you have to understand, then you will be able to do the next thing. And because I have assigned this one, this D3 to D2, so now it has two elements. It has two data objects. One is this D2 and D3. So it has two data objects. So I have now the centroid of this cluster 2 changed, because now it has two elements, two objects. So what I will do, I have to recompute the centroid for this cluster. So what I will do, I have to calculate the mean of these. So how I will calculate the mean? You have to calculate corresponding height and this one. So what I did, you can watch here, 170, you can look here, 170 plus 168, 170 plus 168, and 56 plus 60, 56 plus 60. Because I am taking the mean, that's why I have divided by 2. And I have divided by 2 because I am having the two elements. So I come up with the new centroid. This is now your new centroid, that is the 169 and 169 and 58. So these two values, this point will be new centroid for the cluster 2. Now come to the cluster 1. So because no new element came into the cluster 1, so its centroid will be same as before, 185 and 72. If this was here, then this centroid will be changed. That is why we have taken the new centroid here, and the new centroid will be the old centroid because no element was added here. So hence I will take the old one. Okay. So I did the assignment for this one for D3. You can watch here. So it is still having one element. Okay. It has now 2 and 3. Second one and third one. This element now assigned here. Now come to the next object, D4, and which has the value for height 179 and 68. You can see here. Again, I have to compute the distance from each centroid for this D4. So what I did, now for C1, my centroid is the same. What was my centroid for cluster 1? The centroid was 185 and 72. So I have to take the difference like this. So 179 minus 185 and 68 minus 72, Euclidean distance. Then I come up with the value 7.21. And next, for the Euclidean distance from C2, if I calculate for this data set or this data object, then I will put the value here and I will calculate 179 minus 169 squared plus the 68 minus 58 square, and then square root. Then I came with 14.14. So now you can see here which one is minimum. This one is minimum now. This one is the minimum. This distance is minimum. So D4 will go to which cluster? It will go to the cluster C1. It will go to the cluster C1 because the distance from the cluster C1 to this object D4 is minimum compared to this one. So I will assign this one. So now what will happen? Now this cluster 1 also have 2 elements. So now because new object added to this, so this centroid will have changed. Okay, so now this centroid will be changed. So what I will do now, I will calculate the mean. How I will calculate the mean? These two elements, this D1 and D4, sorry, this element came. So 185 and here 179 and divided by 2, then 72 plus 68 divided by 2. So now my new centroid is 182 and 70. For D5, when I will do the assignment for D5 to the cluster, then I will take this as a centroid for C1, because here for centroid 2, if I say no further element again added, since the previous calculations only 2 3 is there, the same, because the element not came here, so this will be the same, no changes here, nothing. This centroid, the old centroid will be again here treated as the new centroid. So now new centroid is 182.70 and for C2 it is 169.58. So this will be calculated for D5 and the distance will be calculated. Which one will be minimum, that will be assigned. So similarly you have to do for all 12 objects. All 12 objects will be computed for the assignment to the respective clusters. So as per our calculation, we found that this up to D12. So cluster C1, this C1 will contain these all elements. Okay, and in cluster 2 only 2 elements came. So further calculation you can do by yourself. Now I think it is clear how the k-means algorithm is working for you for as a conceptual and the example way. I try to make you understand. Now are you able to understand? Shall I repeat once again? Okay. Yeah. Any person?
Hello.
Shall I explain once again?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Sir.
Hello. Again I will explain, it will be better. You can yeah, tell me, any confusion?
Sir, in D4 seat how we calculate, sir?
D4 means?
Here black, sir, excluding distance from C2.
Okay, from C2. Okay, this
Yes,
C2. Okay, okay. Then
how we take 169, sir? Here 179 minus 169.
One, where you are telling this at which point? 169.
Sir.
This one.
This one only, sir.
D4, sir. D4.
D4, na?
D4 including distance from C2, sir.
Okay,
Second
this C2, na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, you see here, what is the centroid for this C2? Centroid is 169 and 58, na? What is that centroid for C2? Centroid for C2 is 169 and 158.
50. Yes, sir. 58.
Oh, sorry, 58. So what I will write here? The D4 is, what is the value of D4? 179 and 68. 179 and 68. And
Yes,
what
sir.
is the centroid for C2? New centroid. Don't use this one because now centroid is changed. So 169 and 58 you can see here. 169 minus here 58. Then this calculation will lead to 14.14 value it will come. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
how 58 comes, sir? 68 minus 58 whole square whole power 1 by 2.
No. So what it will come? This is the square root I am taking, na, here. See, this will come 10, this will come 10. Okay. 100 is this 10 square means 100. This 10 square will come how much? 100. So you see calculation this difference of between 179 and 169. How much it will come? It will come 10. And then you have to make the square. Then how much it will come? 10 square means 100. Now you come 68 minus 58. How much it will come? It will come 10. And its square, it will come how much?
100.
100. Then 100
100.
plus 100, how much? 200. And square root of 200, how much it will come? 14.14. Now, is it clear?
Yes,
What
sir.
is the square root of? You are using the mobile or calculator, whatever you having. If my calculation is wrong, you can also correct. But as per my calculation, I did in Excel's, na? From that I copied 14.1. You take the square root of what is that? Square root of 200. What it will come? Okay, I will use the calculator for myself for your doubt clearance. 200 and its square root. Okay, it is coming 14.1. I can coming na 14.14. It is coming. It will come 14.14. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is now clear, na? So
Yes,
see,
sir.
once again I am telling, if now here for D5, how you will calculate? If you want to, so I will
take 182, 72,
okay.
sir.
Okay, for D5, how I will calculate the distance from C1? Okay, I will do here only so that you can understand here. Okay, you tell me what is the new data points D5? What is the D5?
182.
180. Okay, I will do this calculation before you. 182, comma
72, sir.
179.
okay, 72 it is there now. So what you will
Yes,
do?
sir.
You will write here what? 182. Then
Yes.
what is the cluster for C1? What is the new cluster for C1? What
17.
is this? New
182,
centroid.
sir.
82 came, na? You write 82. Then 68 is there. Here you will write 72. Don't keep any confusion
Hello,
here.
sir.
Yeah.
Confused.
Sir,
Then
explain
70.
it again, sir.
What?
Sir, you need to take initials and write, sir. Here 182 minus 185, na, sir.
Where 185? Yeah. You have some confusion, I think. Okay.
Sir.
See, which value? 85 and 72. I have to take. You are telling, na? This
Yes,
one.
sir.
No,
Yes, sir.
because
Sir, voice is not clear, sir.
my voice is not clear. Hello.
Sir,
Sir, good, sir.
Good, sir. Good, sir.
It is from your side, not from my side, huh? Okay, you see here why I am using here this one, this centroid, because now the for C1 cluster C1 this centroid is now changed, because previously now only one element was there. When I assigned D4, then two elements came here, two objects. So basically two objects after these two objects now centroid mean value will be changed. That is why after recomputation I came up with 182 and 70 this value. So new distance will be calculated based on this. So that is why I have kept here 182 minus 182. Okay, 72 minus this 70. So what will be the final answer here? Can you calculate? This one will come. This one will come 0 na. And 72. See, it will come completely 2.
Yes, sir.
If I can calculate this distance, how much it will come?
2, sir.
182
sir.
already.
2.
You
2, sir.
it will come Okay, I will do this calculation before you. Otherwise, you will not understand what is happening here. 182 is the data point here, and 72 is the data point. And my centroid is this one. For C2, my centroid is this one. So I will keep here 169. And what is this? 58. So how much I will got after the calculation? Can you do this calculation by yourself? Use your calculator and do calculation. What is the difference between 182 and 169?
11, sir. 13, sir.
How much? 13. And 30, if you make the square of 13, then how much you will get?
169.
169 plus. And what is this? How much difference? What is the difference between
14.
How much you will get?
14, sir.
14. Okay. Then if I make the square of this 14, how much you will get? 196.
196, sir.
196, no?
Yes, sir.
Then what you have to do? You have to take the square root of this. You add and tell me what is the answer. See, you do this one. You tell me what is the answer now.
1.414, sir.
19.10, sir.
19 point.
0.
10, sir.
I'm not making 19.10.
10, sir. 19.10.
Okay, whatever value it came. Now, as per your calculation, I am telling. So now you tell me which distance is minimum. This one or this one?
These ones.
C1.
Two is so distance of D5 to cluster C1 is minimum. That's why this D5 will go to which one? This one. So that is why 5 came here and here. So my new elements. So in this iteration, what it will happen? 1, 4, here 5 new elements will be here, and here the same 2, 3 will be there. 2, 3. Because assignment is done in cluster C1. So for now, similarly, you can do for the now my cluster centroid is changed or not for C1, because now you are having 3 elements. Again, you have to mean of these 3 values. 145. What is 145? 145. So these value will be added and divided by 3, and correspondingly 72. Okay, and this one and this one will be added and divided by 3. Then you will come up with new centroid here. Your centroid will be changed here. So in that way, you have to write the new centroid. This centroid will not change because the assignment will be here only, head here in the C1 only. So like this, you will keep on adding these element in C1 or C2. But as per this example, what is happening? We are getting all the elements in C1 except 2, 3. Okay, is it clear? Sai?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear now?
Yes.
Or you can once again you can listen this lecture, you will be able to understand.
Yes.
So this is the repeated process. If I do for all 12 now, it will take 1 hour. Okay, that's why you do the letter the answer, final answer I am telling, this is the final answer. In between the calculations, for similarly you can do these calculations. Okay. Okay, I will come to the previous one. Okay, so K-means clustering, we with the example we learned how to do the calculation, how to assign the different objects to the new clusters or the cluster we have chosen. Okay, so we did these things. Okay, if you compare the efficiency of this k-means, so complexity in the data structure class, you may be knowing what is the time complexity of algorithms. You know, we have the different notations, time complexity. So it is the order of tkn. N is the number of objects in the data sets, k is the number of cluster that chosen by yourself, and t is the number of iteration. Number of iterations means we were calculating for d1, d2, d3, so this will come as a number of iterations. So the order of the time complexity of this k-means algorithm is order of tkn multiplied all. Okay, so if I compare to this one, the partition around medoids, that is the next algorithm that we will study. So it is k into n minus k to the power 2. Okay, so for k means it often terminates at a local optimal. Next, what is the weakness of this one? The weakness or disadvantage, if you see, so it is applicable only to objects in a continuous n-dimensional space. Okay, using k modes. So other algorithms also exist. The k modes, k medoids are there to remove the weakness of this one. So what is one more constraint here? You need to specify k, means user have to pass the k, that is the number of cluster that you wish to create, the number of cluster in advance. Previously, before starting the algorithm, you have to pass this one. And there are ways to automatically determine the best k. Some research also happened how to choose the best k, the optimal k, so that we can get the good clusters. So some algorithm probability based and so many things are also there. This is also one research area for you. So you can also create some methods how to choose k for the k-means algorithm. So this is also a research topic for you. You can suggest your own ideas. If I choose this value, that is k number of cluster as per my recommendation, okay, then you will get the good clusters. So this is also one research topic you can do. Already some many persons has done towards this, but you always we come up with the novel ideas. You can do you can apply your methods also to do this one. Okay, what is the what is the worst drawback of this one? So it is sensitive to noisy data and outliers. It is sensitive to noisy data and the outliers. If some noisy data or outliers are there, that will be included and your mean will be changed, because every time we are calculating the means, then that will affect your clustering. So it is not so suitable to discover the cluster with non-convex. Convex means this type, non-convex means this type. Okay, so this is the drawback. So because in k-means algorithm we are calculating, we are doing the clustering based on the calculation of the mean value. So whatever the drawback, what are the disadvantages, what are the cons are in the k-means in calculation of means, what are the drawback of means, that will inherently also creeps into k-mean algorithm, because k-mean algorithm is based on the k-mean. So this is the advantage that you have, or disadvantage that you have to write at the time if somebody asks or some questions come. So variations of k-means methods. So most of the variants of the k-means which differ in how, see you can make different variants. Variants means those methods of k-means that came up from originally k-mean methods. Somebody has added some new features in k-mean algorithm that will be under the variants. So most of the variants of the k-means which differ in selection of the initial k-means. Whatever initial k-means you are taking, Centroid is taking, in that way it can make the difference. And calculation of the dissimilarity, calculation of the dissimilarity, in that also it can differ, because in our calculation that we did now, what distance measure we have taken, we have taken the Euclidean distance. Okay, Euclidean distance we have taken for that formula used. Some person may also use Manhattan distance, and other L1 form, other dissimilarity methods are there that can be used. So in terms of this, it is different. Next one is the strategy to calculate means, cluster means. In how to calculate, is there any method to calculate the k-means? So if you consider these 3 points, in any of the 3 points, if we make the change, the different k-means in variants will come. Variants means variety will come. Okay, now handling categorical data. Okay, if I am having the categorical data, then k-means is efficient to do that. So what we'll do for that, if for handling the categorical data, we can take the k modes. Okay, so mode, this is the statistical term, modes we calculate. So based on that calculation, we will group the data into different clusters. So what we are doing here, replacing means of cluster with the modes. Next, using new dissimilarity measures to deal with the categorical objects, using a frequency based method to update the modes of the cluster, a mixture of categorical and numerical data. Okay, k prototype methods. So these are the different possibilities in the handling the categorical data. Okay, so these, based on these statistical, one more term you can use. If here k mode is there, we have seen k mean. Okay, we have seen k mean. Next one we have we can also, like here k mode is there. One more statistical term is very common, that is the, can you anybody tell similar term? Median is also there. So median algorithm you can also write. Okay, and what is else, any other method? Medoid is there. So like this, so many variants you can get. Next one, what is the problem of the k-mean methods? K-mean algorithm is sensitive to the outlier. Outlier means unwanted data. Suppose these are the points, cluster points. I have made cluster. One point is here. If I include this also, and if then I will calculate the mean of. So my mean point will be somewhere here. This will be changed, and it will affect the whole clustering problem, the domain. So that is why outlier, it is very sensitive to the outlier. Since an object with an extremely large value may substantially distort the distribution of the data. Next, k-modoid. Okay, that is our new discussion. So instead of taking the mean value of the object in a cluster as a reference point, medoid can be used. Medoid can be used, which is the most centrally located object. See here, what is the meaning of this one? Medoid can be used, which is the most centrally located object in a cluster. This term you have to know, then it is very easy to know how medoid is working. That is partitioning around the medoid. So this is the okay, one more thing here, you can see in mean k-mean algorithm we were calculating the mean in each cluster, but in k-medoid we will not calculate any mean. No need of calculation of the means. Whatever object is there, that object will be treated as the reference point, representative object representative. So suppose if I take the mean of this one, then my mean value may come here also. Okay, so this is not object is this point is not there in the cluster. It is not part of the data because new point is created after calculation of the mean here. But in Medoid, this is not like that. Either this will be treated as a central position, or this may be the centroid, or this may be, or any point may be treated as centroid. And which one is the most centrally located, that will be treated as the final centroid or final mean point, centrally located point as a reference. Similarly for this also, if I calculate the that mean value, maybe my mean is coming here. So this is a new point that I added, but I don't want this to come. No new mean point to be added here. So what is here in Medoid? We will use this or this or these any of the element or object which is most centrally located, that will be treated as a mean point. So this is the difference in the k-mean and the k-medoid. Okay, see for this example you can watch here. This one is treated now, initially treated as the reference point, centroid point, and here this point. In the next you can see here. In the next you can see here, arbitrarily we have chosen to, then assignment this clustered we have made based on this one. Next one, what I did, again I will calculate this one. Okay, now I will change the centroid. Now my centroid was this one. In the next iteration I will randomly choose another object as a central point, and I will calculate the distance. I will calculate the distance. Distance means I will calculate the nearness. It is centrally located or not. So for this one, okay, I calculated, and I will calculate the cost for this one also. So if cost of this one is greater than this one, then I will not consider this as a new central point. I will keep this one only. Similarly for this one also. So what I will do, I will compute the total cost of swapping. Swapping means if I change, if I swap this to this one, this point means previously it was the central point of this cluster. Now I am going to change I am wishing to change this one as a central point. So I am swiping this one. So for this swiping, I have to calculate the cost. And similarly for this one also I will calculate the cost. So if cost is less than 0, okay, then I will go for swapping, else I will not do. So what is happening here? I will compute the total cost of the swapping. Okay, for this total cost is 20, and for this swapping cost, if I did, then it will come to the 26. Because I have now chosen new, this is as a central point, except in place of this one. So what is happening? Total cost now increased. If now increased means this, because this dissimilarity is more compared to this one, because here we are getting 20, here dissimilarity this cost is 26. So which one is less? This one. So don't swap, and you treat this one as the cluster. And repeat for this one also. Then you come up whatever, if it requires, then you can go through that. So what you do, you will continue like this one. And if you came to the most centrally located object, then what you will do? Then you will stop, otherwise you will continue. Okay, this is the do the loop until no changes. If no changes is there, you can stop swapping of object, and this will be treated the new centroid, whatever you are choosing, that will be chosen randomly. There is no criteria for that. You can choose anyone. Okay. Now you can understand, because in partitioning methods we come up with these terms. Whatever algorithm we have discussed, these statistical terms are used again and again. So we need to know what is the meaning of these. Then we can understand the algorithm much more better. Okay. So what is the median? Median is the middlemost element. If you arrange this one, what is this? If I arrange these elements in ascending order, you arrange this in ascending order, like 6, 7, 7, 7, then 8, 9, and in the ascending order. Then which one will be the most centrally located point that will be treated as a median? You may be knowing. For odd it is different, and for even it is different. Okay, so this is the median, the number which is in the middle or the middle value. This is the median. Next one, mean. How mean is different from the median? You can see here, mean is nothing different from the average value. So what you will do, whatever items you are having, the value you are having, what you will do, you will divide total. Oh, sorry, you will add all. After getting the summation, you will divide by the number of counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is there. So its summation is coming 99, and I divided by 9 because 9 elements are there. So I come up with the 11. So this 11 is treated as a mean value. So now we have the k-mean algorithm now. So that k-mean algorithm is based on this one. So if I say here, if I here in place of 80, if I add 100, 180, then this value is an abrupt change. Abrupt change came now 180. All values is less than 25, but this is 180. So this will be treated as a outlier. And now my sum will be how much? 199. Now you divide by 9, you will get how much? Around 18. The mean value is changed only because of only one value. So this is the main problem in the k-mean algorithm. If some outlier is there, noise is there, it is very sensitive, not sensitive, it is very sensitive. It changes whole cluster shape because of only one value. Okay, so it is not fit for the data sets where outlier values are there. Okay, now if see what you can observe here, you can add k before and you can come up with new algorithms. See here, k mode. So what is mode? Mode is also a statistical term. You can see here the number that appears the most. The number that appears the most in the data sets, that is treated as the mode. So what is here? Which number is coming? Which is number is coming again and again here? You can see here 7 here, 7 here, 7 here again. You can see here 7 times 7 came. So what is the mode for this data? So this is the 7. So now I will take the central point or centroid as 7 as a center point for if I am going for the k mode algorithm. If you want to prepare the k mode algorithm, then I can take this. Okay, so based on this property, I can prepare one k mode algorithm and I can cluster my data sets. See how it is happening. Range is not here related. You can say range means difference. So these three terms was very much very much related to this partitioning method that you have learned. Now you come here, medoid versus mean. What is the difference between this one? So medoids are representative objects. You can see here. What is this? You have to remember this word. Medoids are representative objects of a data sets or cluster with a data set whose average dissimilarity to all objects in the cluster is minimal. But whereas you can see here and medoids are similar in concept to the means or centroid, but the difference lies here. Medoids are always restricted to be the member of that data sets. This is the main difference. In medoid, the member will be from the data set itself, but in mean, because you are calculating the mean and the mean, the centroid, it is not compulsory that it will be the same, because we are calculating the means. Now the mean point will be changed, so it may or may not be the member of your data sets. But if we talk about the medoids always, not sometimes or frequently, often, it is always okay restricted to be member of the data sets. So this is the restrictions in the medoid algorithm. Okay, let's go ahead. So k-means k-medoid clustering algorithm we are starting now. So the k-means algorithm is sensitive to outlier. I already told, because such objects are far away from the majority of the data, they can dramatically distort the mean value of the cluster. This inadvertently affect the assignment of other objects. So this was the this is the existing problem in the k-means. So that's why we came up with the k-medoids, so that we will take the element itself within the cluster as one reference point. So what we are doing here, find representative objects. Representative means which one is more centrally located in the cluster, and PAM is PAM, partitioning around medoids. This came in 1987. Okay, I think 32 years back. So it starts from an initial set of medoids, okay, and iteratively replaces one of the medoid by one of the non-medoid if it improves the total distance of the resulting clustering. Okay, so PAM works effectively for small data sets, but does not scale well for the large data sets. Because what you have to do, you have to do many calculations. You have to do the cost calculations for the different random objects. So due to the computational complexity, it doesn't scale well for large data sets. Okay, even then it is in some respect it is good compared to the mean algorithm. Next one is the Clara, that is also coming under the partitioning algorithm. Next, Clarence is also there. Randomized resampling is there. Unsample and resampling is there. Okay, don't just you know the name. You know the name. It belongs to the k-medoid or not? Oh, sorry. In partitioning clustering algorithm or not? No need to go into this detail. As for your syllabus, you can see here the same thing. Data object. This one is data object. Cluster center is there. Okay, this one is the cluster center. Okay, and before swapping and after swapping, what is happening here? So OI, then OJ. This one is the random selection. Okay, randomly, and this random selection will be done except the previous chosen elements. Whatever we already taken, we will not take. We will not consider again. We will not consider again. So like this random, we have to reassign to OI, reassigned to O random. No changes is there. Like this reassignment will be done. So what is the main concept behind this? We have to find the most centrally located object. So how it is working, you can have a look. how K-Medoid is working. The algorithm. This is taken from that Hannah and Camber book, data mining concepts and techniques. Okay, so K-Medoid, this how K-Medoid algorithm for partitioning based on the Medoid are central objects. So what we need, input will be taken as K number of cluster, how many cluster you want to prepare, and these data sets over which you want to do the division or clustering. A set of K, and you will come up with the set of K clusters. So what you will do, arbitrarily choose K object, okay, in D as a initial representative objects or seed value or seed objects. Then what you will do, you have to repeat these steps 3, 4 and 5, 6 until no change. Okay, so what you are doing, assign each remaining objects to the cluster with the nearest representative object. Okay, randomly select a non-representative object. Means non-representative means the currently which are not considered as a centroid. You have to select other object randomly. Okay, then what you will do after that, you have to compute. You compute the total cost S, okay, of swapping representative objects OJ with which one? Or random, any random is there. Then if S is less than 0, if S is less than 0, then swap OJ with O random to form new set of K representative objects, and you will continue until no changes. If changes now not happening, then you can stop. So this is the method to calculate this one, to perform this K-Medoid. Now see what is the working principle for this. So what is the objective? Minimize the sum of the dissimilarities between each object and its corresponding reference point. Okay, this is then absolute error criteria used. This formula you can work here. What is this one? Pi minus. So this is the case of, you can see here, this is the Manhattan distance you can see here. This is the Manhattan distance you can. P is the any object and OJ is the new centroid that we have chosen. So for all you have to take the distance for every items. Whatever cost will come, you have to note down that cost. Okay, that cost, if okay, for like cost 1 and then cost 2. So then you have to make the difference, and the difference, if S is less than 0, then we have to swap OJ with the O random, whatever what new centroid you have chosen. Okay, if it is not satisfying this condition, don't change. So like this Medoid works. So what is the advantage? So partitioning around Medoid is very robust to the existence of the outlier. So previous K-means algorithm was sensitive to, very sensitive to the outliers, but here this K-Medoid partitioning around Medoid is very robust to even if the outliers are there. The cluster found by this method do not depend upon the order in which the objects are examined. No need. You can start with any object order. So PAM works effectively for the small data sets. There is one drawback also we have seen, that PAM is, this one is not suitable for the large data set due to the large computation. What is the disadvantage? This one does not scale for large scale well for the large data sets. So two algorithms we discussed here. Okay, so you can take 5 minutes break. Okay, because I will continue this lecture for the next also. Okay.
Okay, sir.
5 minutes I am giving you break. Yeah, you refresh yourself and then you come again. 5 minutes only. I will start again after 5 minutes.